Thanks. Boy, well, thanks everybody. That was exciting. Thank you. I'm a little nervous. I get nervous on stage, mostly because I'm self-conscious about my looks. And a lot of you girls are probably like, how come? You're adorable. And I appreciate that. Thank you. I'll see you after the show. I'm mostly self-conscious about my teeth. I was talking to my buddy the other day. I was confiding in him. I was like, man, I'm really self-conscious about my teeth. And they looked at him and he was like, dude, all you need is some Crest whitening strips. I was like, thanks, man. I'm actually self-conscious that they're crooked, but what the hell? Let's throw yellow in there. I'll get that involved. Then a couple weeks after that, I was talking to my nephew. I have a nephew. He's 5. I call him Neff because I can't remember his name. And we were having like a big heart-to-heart. I was giving him some wisdom. In the middle of my big talk, he was like, Uncle Joe, why are your teeth yellow? I was like, I think it's because Santa Claus isn't real. That's probably the main reason. Then we both had a good cry, and I exchanged his Christmas gift for an electric toothbrush that I've been using. I like kids. I read an article online recently that said sometimes if a baby is crying, it could be as little a thing as the baby has an itch, but doesn't have the capacity to scratch it because it's like a dumb, itchy baby. So if you're around a crying baby, just scratch the shit out of that thing. That's what I do. I'm like, I got this one, everybody. My sister's like, why is the baby all red? I'm like, he's probably emotional that somebody finally figured out what was wrong. And she's like, he's bleeding. I'm like, he was crying pretty hard. At first I was like, that's really smart that they figured out a baby could be crying. And then I was like, maybe that's the dumbest thing I've ever heard in my entire... If I was on the Family Feud and they were like, we have the top 5 reasons why a baby might be crying, and someone in my family was like, maybe he's itchy, I'd be like, you piece of shit. I don't know why we had you on here. Sometimes when a baby is crying, people feed it, and that gets the baby to stop crying. But that doesn't necessarily mean it wasn't an itch. Because if I had an itch that I couldn't reach, and somebody put their tit in my mouth, I'd be like, forget about that itch. This is the best. Yeah. Oh, thank you, guys. That's nice. I think the lesson is tit trumps itch. I like kids. I think we put way too much emphasis on teaching kids what sounds farm animals make in this country. That seems to be a big part of the curriculum for some reason. Every time I'm near a child, somebody is like, what sound does a chicken make? And he's like, "Bawk." I'm like, isn't he smart? I'm like, I guess. That has never come up once in my adult life, ever. I've never been on a job interview, period, but I've never heard of someone on a job interview like we see you went to college. Could you do your horsey impression real quick? We like to make sure everyone knows their animal noises here at the firm. Even if you wanted to be a farmer, I can't imagine that coming up. Like a farmer's in front of all of his animals. Who the hell said oink? I cannot help you if I don't know who said this. I haven't studied in a while. It's a lot of work having kids, I know it is, because people with kids try to get me directly involved with their kids without asking my permission first. I was at a supermarket the other day. This woman was pushing a baby carriage. The baby was crying. She yelled at it. She goes, you better stop crying. You're bothering this nice young man right here. And she points at me. And now I'm just involved in disciplining a child that I don't know. I was like, you're actually not bothering me at all. You're bothering your mother, and she's bothering me. That's what's actually happening. Yeah. Thank you. I'm like, I'm stoned buying fudgicles. I could give a shit that your baby is crying. I don't really care. He probably just needs to be scratched, to be honest with you. I would scratch him up and leave me out of this. But I like having sex. I don't want kids, but I do like having sex. It's a lot of it. It's a lot of fun, right? Oh, thank you. Oh, the same woman from before. Oh, well. You guys are a good crowd. I like having sex. I have a girlfriend I have sex with. Unless any of you are interested in having sex with me, in that case. My girlfriend died a couple days ago, and I'm just... You guys are fucking me up by doing that. Jesus. She's not going to like that. I have sex with recently my girlfriend and I were up in Vermont. We were up in the woods, in a hotel. We weren't just in the woods. That'd be cold and creepy. We were about to have sex, and we were like literally about to have sex. We were both naked. I was wearing a condom. We're very safe. And right before we had sex, like the moment before, she was like, "Wait, I just got creeped out." And that's not a sentence you ever want to hear right before sex. I was like, "Is it my teeth? My nephew said something about this. I'm gonna work on it. I don't know." And she was like, "No, could you check under the bed to make sure that nobody's under there?" And I was like, "Well, you have just come up with the most efficient way to get rid of an erection of all time." So I'm now terrified. I've heard of women thinking of other men during sex, but not other men under the bed. I was like, "What am I supposed to do if somebody's under the bed?" And she was like, "Protect me." And I was like, "I'm wearing a condom, all right?" So I had to check under the bed. I'm like, well, how is that conversation supposed to go if there's somebody I've never been in a fight in my life. Now I have to bounce a psychopath out of our hotel room. "All right, you son of a bitch, we got you. Get the hell out of here, you piece of shit." Like he's just been under my bed for 15 hours. "Dah, you got me. All right, I'm sorry. I'll go to the... Do you want to hide now and I'll No, we're going to have sex. All right, well. That would have been kind of neat if there was a guy under my... That would have been the closest I've ever come to having a threesome, if there was a guy under the bed. That's not completely true. The closest I've ever come to having a threesome, this is a little weird. One time when I was a kid, one time when I was a kid, I was masturbating, and both of my parents walked in on me. That's probably... That's probably the closest I've ever come. That is not a true story, but it's a great joke. I like having sex. It makes me nervous, though. I have horrible anxiety. You probably can't tell that I have anxiety. I'm playing it pretty cool up here. Got my hand in my pocket. That seems cool. You ever got to put your foot up on something to look cool, and then you realize that it's a much higher surface than you originally realized? I was at a party the other day talking to a girl. I'm like, "Yeah, I do comedy. It's pretty sweet." Well, that looked a lot lower when I started this move. "You can't panic. You got to go with it." I'm like, "Yeah, I just thought I want to see my balls through my jeans here." Your knees should never be higher than your genitals in a conversation. That's a good rule of thumb, just generally. I was at a hotel recently. When you have anxiety, everyone has a solution. I was at a hotel. The hotel room had a steam room. I mean, the hotel had a steam room, not my hotel room. I'm not doing that well. The hotel had a steam room. My buddy was like, "You gotta go take a steam. A steam room is really relaxing." A steam room is relaxing if you're the only person in the steam room. That's relaxing. Then you hear that door swing open and you realize that somebody else has entered the steam room, but you can't see them because it's too steamy. That's no longer a relaxing situation. Now you're in some sort of weird ghost porn. Or I'm just sharing a tiny, steamy space with an elderly naked man that I can't see until he's a penis distance away from my face. I'm like, "Hello? Is somebody in here?" And you can't feel around for him. That's no good. I'm just laying in a puddle of ringworm. All of a sudden, a spirit dick appears in front of my eyes. I'm like, "Ah! You guys are great. Thank you very much." Thank you.